Hey, my name is Samar. I also go by Sam or First Time Panner. Any of those that you want to call me, you can. This will be a first impressions review type video for the Danessa Myricks Lightwork Volume 6 palette, which of course already has fingerprints and it's very reflective, so I'm gonna put it down for now. But yeah, I got this maybe almost 2 weeks ago and I'm so excited. I don't want to ramble too much because I can easily do that. Just want to get into the video. But I have swatched these shades, but I haven't used any of these on my eyes yet. So this truly will be a first impressions for how it looks on the eyes. And I'll also be doing 2 looks from, let me open it up. Okay, here it is. This is what it looks like. I'll be doing 2 looks from each of the sections of 6, and then hopefully if you're seeing this now, that means it worked if I didn't cut this part out. But I'm gonna try to do an extra 2 looks at the end where I kind of just mix and match all of the colors together. I wanted to do that because of course you can use the entire palette, but also this is a completely customizable palette. If I can get this out, you can take these little parts out, and I'm sure you've seen the videos on these where they talk about the packaging, but you can take these little mini palettes out and rearrange them, but also you can take out the individual pans. They're magnetic, so you can mix and match any of the sections of 6 that you want and just use that as an individual palette. Again, it comes with this mirror on top. Sorry, I didn't mean to blind you. It comes with this mirror on top that works as a lid for any of these, or you can stack them so you can bring the whole thing in just one little square this size and stack them and put the mirror lid on top like that. So I just want to give you a few looks mixing all the shades together so that you don't have to feel stuck in just these sections of 6 to do your looks. That being said, the first 3 parts of this video will be, again, just doing 2 looks from each of these sections, 1 on each eye, and for each section I will also be doing swatches of all 6 shades, and I'll have timestamps in the description box in case you just want to skip ahead to a certain part, or if you're just here for the swatches, go ahead to those timestamps and that will be the first part of the section that you'll see. Of course, I'm going to start with this warm toned red, orange, green section. Yeah, this was, I mean, it's kind of just my thing. I love warm tones and earth tones and these types of shades, especially greens and oranges. So this is the one I was drawn to first, and here are the swatches of all those 6 shades. They're just so beautiful, and I know I'm not the first one to say that, so that's not a unique opinion, but they just feel so smooth to the touch, but also so impactful. Like, you will get full pigment with these, but they're so lightweight. And this is the first time I've ever used a Danessa Myricks palette, so I'm really excited, and I can't say whether or not this is the same quality as others because, again, I've never owned any of hers, but this is very good quality, at least from the swatches. So now I'm going to start with my 2 eye looks, and this right here, each of these has like 1 or 2 cream to powder shades in each section of 6. For this section, it only has 1 of those shades, which is this first one right here, this one. So I will be using that at least as somewhat of a base in both looks because I don't like doing all shimmer or metallic looks. So I just wanted to mention that, but yeah, I'll be using this one in both of those looks, but I'll be using all 6 shades at least in some variation in both looks. First, I'm going to prime my eyes, and I know Danessa Myricks uses like her own shadows to prime eyelids, but I like using the Milani eyeshadow primer. That's just a standard for me. That's what I always use. So that is what I'm going to use with all these looks moving forward. But lots of people have gone in with this palette without eyeshadow primer, and I haven't heard of any creasing or patchiness or anything, so if you're wondering about that, it seems to be fine. So if you see this, that's just the compact mirror I'm using, but I'm going to get started. I haven't planned out either of the looks I haven't planned any of the looks that I'm going to do, but I guess since I know that I'm going to be using this red shade as my base. I guess I'll start with that. I'm just gonna take it on this kind of flat shader brush and apply it to my eye. I haven't set my eyeshadow primer with anything, so we'll see how this more like, it's like a satin cream to powder type of shade. I don't know the exact formula. If it's listed somewhere, I'll put it on the screen, but yeah, it seems to be applying fine. I'm pretty much just gonna put this everywhere on my top and so all over my lid, fading out into the transition, and then also on my bottom lash line. And I haven't gone back into the palette for more product, and this has like stretched to my entire lid and my crease and fading up into my transition, so you can definitely get a lot of product with like just one dip into the palette. Okay, so that's my top lid done. I'm just going to dip back in once with the tip of this brush to do my lower lash line and see how much product that gets me. I'm just gonna build it up a tiny bit more. I definitely can see it, but I just want it to be a little bit more opaque, at least on the outer half of my lower lash line. And I think I'm gonna stop there as far as that shade, but that is really pretty. I think that's like a great one and done shade because it is more of a satin, so it's not like super flat on your eye. That is a really pretty shade. Okay, I think I have to just go in with this like warm brown green duochrome that we have here. This is the shade that I was probably most excited to use in this palette, like the entire palette. Very cliche of me, this is like my typical shade that I love, but I'm just so excited for it, and I think I'm going to use it all over my lid. But before I do that, again, just like the Milani primer, I do always use a glitter primer when I put any non-matte shade on my lids, so I will be going in with the NYX glitter primer. I'm sorry if you feel like that interferes with the first impression at all. This is just how I do my eyeshadow with literally every eyeshadow that I have, so I don't want to hold this palette to quote a higher standard when I'm giving it its first review. I think it deserves a fair shot just for how I do my makeup if I'm going to give my own opinion. So again, I have this red shade here, and I'm going to apply this duochrome all over my lid. I cannot speak. And I'm just going to use my finger for this, which is how I normally apply my metallics. Apparently this is described as a finger forward palette, meaning pretty much all these shades you are encouraged, or you can use your finger to apply all of them. So you don't have to, but I think Danessa Myricks formulated these shades so that it would be very easy to do so, which makes sense with the like cream to powder shades, or cream to powder satins instead of mattes. But yeah, this is applying very beautifully. I think I'm going to take this kind of like buffing blending brush and just go over the edges so that everything diffuses into each other. But this is a really pretty combination. I don't know what you're seeing on the camera, but at least when I look in the mirror, I'm not really seeing that green flip of the duochrome, so maybe that's just what happens when I put that shade on top of the red. But I do really like the way this looks. Like the warm, like coppery bronzy metallic looks really nice on top of that red shade, and it kind of like makes a really pretty base for it. So I could ramble about this forever, but I'm gonna move on so we can use more of the shades. I'm going to take this iridescent shade right here, which in the camera looks orange now. When I look at it from like coming from above, it looks kind of yellow, and then of course in the pan it looks white because it's an iridescent shade. I'm just gonna put this on the first half of my eye and see what that looks like, but again, because I've never used these, I have no clue what it's going to look like. That is so pretty. Okay, so what I'm seeing in the camera is the orange flip of the like iridescent duochrome multi-chrome shade, and the way it like creates a transition between like the coppery bronze of the metallic I put on my lid to the red shade that I used as the base is so pretty. And I'm kind of like feathering it out a tiny bit just so that it gradually goes out as my transition shade. That is so, I'm just repeating myself, that is so pretty. But these shades, even though this is more of like a brighter orange and these two are like more muted earthy tones, they work so well together. They don't seem to clash. I'm also going to take that shade on a brush just to apply it on the first half of my lower lash line, because again, I love the way this fades into the red. So I'm just going to apply it on top of the red that I had on my lower lash line and just fade it out. That is so pretty. I do actually feel like I want to put something in my inner corner, so I'm gonna go in with this final, or like the last shade, which is just this like yellowy or like orangey yellow one right here. Just using my pinky, I'm going to lightly place this in my inner corner and then blend it out into my upper and lower lids. I got a little carried away on my lower lash line. Let me try to blend that out into the shades that I already have there. I love that. Okay, I'm gonna put some eyeliner in my waterline and then some mascara on, and then I'll be back. Here's the final look for my right eye. Again, I'm in love with this. I don't usually use this many non-matte shades. I mean, technically there were no matte shades on my eye for this look, because this red one that I use as a base is more of a satin. It's definitely not a matte, and I think the fact that there is only one like base type shade in this entire section of 6 really helped me be more creative in my eyeshadow. And yeah, I would have never done something like this if, sorry, there's like jets going by, if I had kind of the regular layout of like base color, like transition, crease, outer corner, inner corner. So yeah, I really had fun doing that look, and now it's time to move on to the left eye. The only 2 shades I haven't used so far are these 2 in the middle, so I'll definitely be using this, or those 2 in this look. Again, I'm gonna start with that red shade and use it as my base, but only keep it to the outer half of my eye because I want to keep everything else. I just want to see how like on the inner part of my eye those colors show up just on their own and not on top of a base. Again, I'm just gonna take a tiny bit of this NYX glitter primer and put it on the part of my eye where that red shade is not. Now I'm gonna go in wherever I put that glitter primer with this shade here, and this seems to be, this one is definitely a multi-chrome. To me, this looks like a blue to purple to burgundy to green shift, so I can see 4 different colors in the shift. It's basically like almost the entire rainbow. So what I think I'll do is first I'll put this on my lid, and then depending on like what shifts I see, I might add a topper on top of everything just to combine the colors together. But I don't want to get too ahead of myself. I'm gonna apply it first. I just want to take a moment to appreciate how pretty that is. Putting it on top of the red, it kind of lessened the intensity. I think this metallic, the metallic multi-chrome that I just added, it's not quite as opaque as the one that I had on this eye, the like warm earthy one with the green shift. So when I put it on top of the red, I can see the red showing through that shade, so that is something to note. This shade is, well, it seems to be very good for layering. And I think on top of that, kind of like in the outer 2/3, I'm going to put this last unused shade. When I'm looking at the swatch on my hand, it's this, yeah, it's this shade right here, which seems to be like a topper yellowy orange shade with like not much base, like I said, a topper. So I'm gonna see what that looks like on the outer 2/3 and kind of on top of the red and green combination, and also just on the portion with the green to see how it interacts with both. I don't know what you're seeing in the camera. I have to admit that didn't really add anything as far as a base. Like, I don't see any orange veil. I kind of just see orange sparkles everywhere. So it just added the glitter, but it didn't seem to add really anything of a base or like a tint to anything. I'm actually going to add a lot more of the red shade on my lower lash line, and maybe that's something I can build up on, or that I can see a little bit more clearly if I use more of it on my lower lash line. And I'm doing like a thicker band of color on my lower lash line on this eye than I did with this one, because I really want to see if this orange shade does anything when it's layered on top of that. And again, this is not with any glitter primer applied, so we're getting the exact intensity that it would be if I had never done any glitter primer here. That is very pretty. I think those two shades complement each other very well. I do want to go in again with that same shade that I used on my inner corner and kind of just do the same thing, but I want to bring it up a lot farther on like this part of my eye. People call it the swoop. I'm gonna bring it onto the swoop of my eye, and not really put it too much on my lower lash line. I'm just gonna use this blending brush again to kind of like diffuse everything and remove any harsh lines. That is that final look, and it definitely looks a lot less cohesive than this eye, but I still really like the way everything came out together. Everything blended into each other very nicely. Nothing's patchy, so I'm gonna add some eyeliner and mascara and then be right back. Here's that final look on my left eye. Kind of reminds me of the Ethiopian flag. Here is what both of them look like. I'm gonna try to move my eyes around so you can see any shifts that might be there. I'm not used to filming videos like these, so forgive me if I seem a little bit awkward, but I think these are really pretty. As far as like the color payoff, again, you saw how me just like adding color to this brush once, it spread across my entire eyelid, and it wasn't patchy at all. I usually do set my eyeshadow primer just because sometimes shades can skip or they can stick, and especially with super pigmented eyeshadows like obviously this one was, to be able to spread across my entire eyelid and transition. Usually they can be pretty patchy, but even without setting my primer, this did not skip at all. And yeah, I just think the shades are so pretty. They're so smooth, they don't muddy up, they don't clash. I do have a little bit of fallout under, I don't know why I'm still holding this. I do have a little bit of fallout underneath both eyes, but I do think that is because I was buffing in a glitter packed shade on my lower lash line on both eyes without any glitter primer there. So yeah, that's probably the reason, but it's also very, very minimal fallout. It's something that you wouldn't even be able to notice unless you were specifically looking for it. And I just noticed I had lipstick on my teeth, so if you saw that the whole video, I'm sorry. But I'm just very excited about this, and that was the red, green, orange, yellow section of the Danessa Myricks Lightwork palette, volume 6. I'm super excited to try the other two, which you'll be seeing the next one right now. I'm back with the middle section of the palette, which is the blue and purple section. So here's what that looks like. These are the swatches of all 6 shades, and I'm just really excited. I mean, I'm excited about the whole palette, but I just, like, this past year I've been having a lot of fun playing with blues. I'm also wearing my purple Sawmill Viking shirt just to coordinate with the purple that's right here. First, again, I'm gonna apply my Milani eyeshadow primer. I have all the same like tools and like makeup that I had as the first section or yesterday, so all of that is going to be the same. The only difference is the section of 6 in the palette, and I have a different mirror with me. This one's a little bit bigger. Again, I'm not going to set my eyeshadow primer with anything. I'm just going to go in with this dark blue cream to powder shade, and or what I've just been calling a cream to powder shade. And I'm kind of gonna do the same thing as yesterday, where it's the same video for you, but where I'm just gonna put this all over my right eyelid. As you can see, this is very opaque. I went very dark very quickly, but this will be a good opportunity to see how blendable these shades are, just like straight on an eyeshadow primer, not setting anything. If this can blend out and fade smoothly, then especially with like how pigmented it is, I think that will be a real testament to the quality, especially. And it kind of looks like it is, like, I don't know if you can see this, but it definitely is like smoothing out on my eyelid just to like a little wash of color. I'm going to build up slightly again in this little like transition part just right above my crease, just so that things don't go from super opaque to like super light. And then I'm going to try to blend out my lower lash line because again, this is very dark. Okay, that worked out very well. I did have initially some skipping on the outer part of my eye, which does happen a lot with eyeshadow for me. That's just like, I think, how I apply my eyeshadow. I mentioned it during my Sephora palette review, but I was able to blend it out so that it like filled in all the skips and the creases, so that worked out very well, and I don't see any fallout from that shadow. I'm gonna take this blurple type shade right here, this one. Oh, I swatched it, so I should show you there. It's this one right here. Oh, it actually almost looks like it has a bit of a flip when I look at it in the camera. But I'm gonna put that one all over my lid, on top of my NYX glitter primer. And because this is a finger forward palette, I'm gonna use my finger to apply that. I usually do use my finger anyway. I'm not claiming to be any sort of makeup artist, so like you don't have to take any of my techniques to heart, and definitely don't judge the looks that I create because I'm not claiming to be super good at makeup. This is just for fun, but that is really pretty. I really like how it has a base color, but then the sparkles also show up just as much. It looks like a metallic with glitter in it, so it's not like a shimmer or a metallic, it's kind of like a hybrid. At the very top, so like the first half of my lid where the transition part of that blue shadow is, I'm going to put this like iridescent blue tealy seafoam kind of like topper shade. And then I might put it in my inner corner as well because I love iridescent shadows as inner corner shades. And that is just this one right here. I'm going to use this brush to apply it. I have no idea how it's going to apply, but I'm just gonna try it that way. And I'm getting most of the sparkle, but it doesn't really look like I'm getting much pigment. I'm gonna use my pinky to apply it in my inner corner to see if that changes anything. Okay, it's definitely more opaque, but yeah, it did add a little bit of like, not that it has a base color, but kind of just like a smooth wash of the sparkle instead of like little bits of sparkle here and there. It kind of just looks more, clearly I cannot speak. It just looks a little bit more intentional when I use my finger with that shade. So I recommend using your fingers for the iridescence. And using that brush, I've wiped this off as much as possible. Using this brush that I first applied the blue with, I'm going to just put a tiny bit of that on the tip of this brush and just put just a tiny bit into the very first part of my lower lash line. And that's all I'm really gonna do with that shade. I think this eye is done. I'm pretty satisfied with that, so I'm just gonna add the mascara and eyeliner and be right back. Okay, I got a little carried away and also put the eyeliner on this eye in my waterline, but that's fine. That won't affect the eyeshadow that I do here. But this is the complete look on my right eye. I think it's beautiful. Everything blended out perfectly, like the first cream to powder shade blended perfectly. The other shades are very impactful and beautiful, and it kind of reminds me of the Northern Lights a little bit. But yeah, I'm really pleased with that. And now I have 3 shades left to use, so I have to use this one that actually looks like it has a bit of orange and yellow in it. It's a multi-chrome. I have to use this one, and then the deep purple metallic. Okay, I just tried layering this like yellow goldy orangey shade on top of this purple, and it made like this purple gold just beautiful shade that of course I have to put on my eyes because like I'm literally wearing the Vikings colors. So that's what I think I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll just use that deep purple shade kind of like all over the outer half of my eye. Again, I'm gonna go in just using the flat brush, but we'll just see what this does. Even though this is a metallic, it's not like a super creamy formula, so I think it could be a really good base. And I'm gonna go in on my lower lash line. I feel like this one might create some fallout, which will be fine if that happens. I kind of just ended up bringing that 2/3 of the way into my eye, which is okay. I'm gonna take this buffing like blending brush and just I'm gonna build up my crease and then slightly into my transition. I'm gonna put this NYX glitter primer kind of like all over my eyelid. I'm going to put this like aqua shifty shade on the parts that don't have that purple, and then I'm gonna put this shade, the like golden bronzy one, just all over everything. And even though I feel like this shade doesn't really go with the purple, it does have some green in it, so I think it'll work well with this shade that I'm about to put over everything. It's very creamy, so I'm gonna wipe a tiny bit off on my other hand just to smooth it out a little bit. It's kind of like that creamy flaky texture. But anyway, as I was saying, putting this on top of everything, oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. I just put that on top of the purple. That is so pretty. But yeah, I think putting this on both will kind of mesh them together. Putting a topper on top of 2 colors that don't really go together can kind of course it'll blend them a bit better because now they have something in common. Okay, something weird that I just wanted to note, that shade barely built up on that aqua shade, but it kind of overtook the purple, so I don't really know why. Maybe because these two are both creamy shades and this one is a more dry formula, so maybe it sticks better to it. I have no idea, just wanted to mention that though. I'm just gonna go back in with this brush and that deep purple just to get back some of that purple on this top part, but it's still blending in with that shade that I just put on top of it, so it kind of looks more like a gradient. And I think I'm gonna leave my lower lash line just how it is. Okay, I lied. I'm gonna take a tiny bit of that topper iridescent shade, the one that I use on this eye. I'm just going to put it just right here on my lower lash line, just to kind of mirror that aqua shade that I have on my top lid, just so that there's like more green on my lower lash line, but I didn't want it to be super opaque, so I didn't want to use that shade. And then on my very inner corner, I'm just going to take this shade again and just with my pinky finger just put it right here and nowhere else. So that's done. I'm gonna put some mascara on and then I'll be right back. I'm back with this finished eye and I love this. At first I wasn't sure because I felt like things were kind of getting lost once I put that topper shade all over my lid, but no, everything looks perfect. And yeah, this eye especially looks like the Northern Lights and I think it's really pretty. I think I ended up using like 5 shades on this eye, and I even used all 5 in like different places. Like some I used in multiple different spots on my eye, and yeah, I think it's really pretty. I love the look. Again, I'm just repeating myself, but I feel like this palette, like the entire Lightwork palette, is just pushing me out of my comfort zone and making me be creative in ways that I would never have thought of before. So yeah, I'm really liking this section. I'm gonna have a lot of fun playing with blues this winter, and I'll definitely be using this palette. But that's it for these two looks. I'm back with the third section of the palette, which looks like this. It is so beautiful. I'm so excited to use these shades. If you hear kids outside, they're just playing. Also, I have my door open for like the first time ever while filming, so if you hear my cats whining or meowing or just making noise, that's them. Sorry about that. But yeah, I'm super excited to use this. As always, I'll be using all 6 shades in 2 different looks. So yeah, I'm just gonna get started. By the way, if you see my eye twitching, it's just been doing that for a while. I think I need to take some magnesium and maybe get a little bit more sleep. But yeah, my eyelid is just like randomly twitching, so hopefully you can't see that. But this is the first time or like the first section that has 2 of these sort of like satin cream to powder shades, these 2 right here. So I'll definitely be using at least one of them on each eye. I'm super excited to use this top iridescent shade. It's like a pink, green, like yellowy orange multi-chrome. It is so pretty. I love all of the iridescent shades in this palette. I've already primed both of my eyelids with the Milani eyeshadow primer, and as always, I'm not setting them with anything, so I'm just gonna go into this pink shade and put it all over this eye. By the way, I haven't watched any of the footage back yet, but if I've like been making weird faces while I've been doing my eyeshadow, like I just make faces while I'm concentrating. I pretty much leave my body, so I have no idea, like I'm not aware of what I'm doing, so if you see me making weird faces, just don't mention it. I'm going to kind of like pack this into my crease and bring it up as my transition shade, and then I think I'm gonna use that iridescent shade pretty much like all over, just to see how they layer and what they look like together. I'm just really excited to use it. Because it's an iridescent shade and I don't want it to be like too opaque, I just want it to be a light wash of whatever effect it's gonna give. I'm actually not going to use my glitter primer. I'm just gonna go straight in with my finger on top of that shade. And I'm not going to be too careful with it because like I said, I just want to put it everywhere. And at least what I'm seeing like head on, you might be seeing something different in the camera or like when I do the after pictures, but I'm kind of just seeing like an intense like glittery shimmer of kind of the exact same color. It kind of just looks like that same Barbie pink as that satin shade. But like I do know this is a multi-chrome, so I'm sure like from different angles you'll be able to see something different, but at least head on with my light right in front of me, that's what I'm seeing. I don't think I've ever mentioned this. I use yellow light for reference in case you use a different light and you see something different. I'm going to take this purple shade just on the tip of this kind of like hinged shader brush, and I'm just gonna put this all over my lower lash line. And I'll probably layer something else on top of it, but I kind of just want to do like a different color lower lash line just for funsies. Those 2 colors look really good together. They kind of have like the same undertone, so they kind of just like meld right into each other. On top of that, I'm just going to put this shade right here, which kind of looks like a pinky lilac color, and to me it kind of just looks like a sheer topper. It doesn't look like it has any flips, and it doesn't have that much of a base color, so I'm just going to use that to put on top of where I just put that purple on my lower lash line, and I'm pretty much going to put it on top of the entire thing. That is so pretty. And again, I still haven't used any glitter primer, but because I just dabbed it on and it went like pretty much with full impact, just dabbing and not swiping, because usually I get more pigment if I swipe, but I just dabbed it on, and because I didn't swipe it, I didn't really get any fallout from that, so that was really nice. And I think I'm just gonna do one more shade in my inner corner, just because I feel like I really want to put an inner corner on pretty much all of these looks. I'm going to take this third shade here, which is a pink with an orange flip. I don't know how much of that orange is going to show up, but I'm just going to take it on my finger or on my pinky finger and put it right here in my inner corner. I'm not seeing much of the flip, and I'm sure it just has to do with like my lighting, because I can definitely see the flip on my hand, but I'm not seeing much of the flip at least how I'm seeing it in the mirror. So it kind of just looks like the same color as everything else that I have on my top lid. I'm going to go in just like dabbing lightly with this blending brush, and I'm just gonna like swoop it out, because I always like to do that with my inner corner highlights. I like to bring them up here, and maybe when I look in the mirror later, like with the lights coming from above, I'll probably end up seeing that flip, but at least from with the lighting head on, I don't see it. That's all I'm gonna do for this eye though, and I'm gonna put on my eyeliner and mascara and be right back. Here's the final look for this eye. So from what I'm seeing, again, I'm not seeing any of the flips, but that's most likely just to do with the angle of the lighting. But at least what I can see is colors that mesh really well together and finishes that just are such high quality, and I think it's really pretty. So I'm really enjoying this look, and it's time to do the other eye. There's only one more shade that I have to use, and it's this one right here. So obviously I'm going to be doubling up on shades, and I'll probably end up doing more of like a traditional look where I use this on my lid, this one to like deepen up the crease and outer corner as much as I can. I don't know how much it'll build, but like I said, for now I'm just going to go in with that pink shade and put it pretty much everywhere. That was actually really quick because this is so pigmented and easy to blend. So now I'm just going to take that same brush and put this purple, like I said, on the outer corner and then a little bit into my crease. That is so beautiful. It's not building up to be super dark, and again, it's not a super dark shade anyway, so I didn't really expect it to. But because these are the pink and the purple satin are literally the exact same finish, or seem to be the exact same finish, and they're not like flat matte, they have a bit of dimension to them, and because the the finish and the shades blend so well together, it kind of gives like a duochrome effect where you can't see where it goes from one shade to the other. So when I move my eye around, it literally just looks like I have a pink and purple duochrome on my eye. So just wanted to mention that because that is so cool. I love when shades do that, which is why I often like to use a metallic in my outer corner instead of like a deep matte, because it just gives that like very even transition between your shades. So anyway, I'm just going to take a tiny bit of that purple and put it on my lower lash line, and I can tell the difference. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I can see the difference between putting just that purple on my lower lash line and the purple that I layered on top of the pink. So you will get the colors blended together, especially because I blended them, like I buffed it in. So you can mix the colors together if you find that you're like lacking something. At least from these two, it looks like you really can mix the colors to make new colors instead of just like building them on top of each other. With nothing on this brush, I'm going to just like buff my crease, just so that I can kind of diffuse things out without adding more color and without like bringing things very far into my transition, because at least for now I kind of just want to see what everything looks like if I keep it very condensed. Taking this last shade that I need to use, I think I'm going to kind of keep it just on the first half of my lower lash line and then just very tightly in here, just to try that out to see what it looks like. Because I want to keep it very pinpointed, I'm going to take my NYX glitter primer and just put it exactly where I intend to put that shade, and then from there I can just blend it out if I want to. We'll see how this adds onto my lash line with just a brush, but yeah, it's looking like it's applying pretty well. I am going to kind of buff it in, so I probably will get a little bit of fallout. Actually, I didn't get any fallout from that, so that was nice. Then I'm going to lightly place it just on this first part of my top lid, and then kind of like bring it up almost in the same place as this, but not as high up. And I just wiped off any excess just so when I'm like blending this in, I don't kind of just like smudge more. I really like the way that looks, and I honestly don't feel like adding anything to that, so I'm just gonna add eyeliner and mascara, and then I'll come back to give my final look. Okay, I added my eyeliner and mascara. I really like the way this looks, but I do think, just because I can't help myself, I love a little light gradient. I'm going to take that like lilac-y pink shade, that second shade right here, and I think I'm just, with the like very tip of this brush, going to add just a tiny bit in my very inner corner. Oh, that is so pretty. Oh my gosh. Just to brighten the inner corner a little bit. Yeah, I love gradient of light. That is so beautiful, and I think that was like the perfect addition, and now this is like the perfect pink purple look to me. This is probably my favorite look that I've done so far, and I've loved all of the looks that I've done. I'm definitely going to need to repeat this look sometime in the future, but for now I'm very happy with this section of the palette, which is pretty much like all pinks with some type of flip and then like one purple here. Very, very pretty. If you like pinks, I really think that you'll love this. I like, pink is definitely not even my favorite eyeshadow color, and I feel really beautiful with both of these looks. So yeah, I'll see you in tomorrow's portion of the video, which for you will be right now. I'm back with the final day, and I'm just going to be doing some mixing and matching. The camera might be a little crooked, I just can't get it to be straight, sorry if it is. But I just wanted to, because this packaging is so versatile, as I've mentioned, sorry there are people out there, and pretty much everyone has mentioned, you can do so much with this packaging. I kind of wanted to show you, if you were to just take like, because you can take the pans out, if you were to just take one of these little 6-pan palettes out and just mix and match 6 shades, and then just bring this little mirror lid, and that's all you brought with you. I just wanted to do like a look with using 6 shades that I hand selected, just in case I ever wanted to do that if I was like traveling and I just wanted to bring something super tiny as like a companion palette, or if I was doing like a weekend trip and I just wanted to like have maybe like one quick look that involved like a bunch of color, because obviously this is not like a neutral palette, you're going to get a colorful look. And because I don't want to like disturb the layout of these shadows, I'm just gonna put the 6 ones that I choose in here, just so I can keep everything in the same order in these mini palettes. But yeah, this is also magnetic, so if you want to bring these shadows in here and then just put like random other singles that you have to mix and match with your other brands, then you can also use this as just a general Z palette with this as the lid. Also, my hair, the one time I decide to wear it down, it gets all frizzy, so if you see my hair like puffing up into a triangle, don't look at it. I have not chosen my shades that I'm going to use yet, so you're going to see me selecting these live on camera. And then just to take them out, because I don't have a magnet, I'm just going to be using my Fenty matchstick, like contour stick, because these are magnetic, so it will just pop them out. And this is actually one of the shades that I wanted to choose, so I'm going to put it in this palette right here. I think I'm actually going to take these other 2 satins here. I'm not going to use the red because I only have 6 spots. I think I'll keep all of these like cool toned shades, so I'm going to take the pink and purple satins as well. Here's the color story that I have so far. So I accidentally swatched one of my knuckles. I'm going to find, I can't decide if I want to do like 2 metallic shimmers and 1 iridescent, or 2 iridescents and 1 metallic shimmer. These are the difficult choices that I have when I use this palette. I know my life is such a struggle. So I'm just swatching this one right here, which looks like, it looks like that, which is very pretty with that blue, and it would probably work with, I feel like that would work really well with the pink too. This purple leans a little bit warm tone, and this one is definitely cool, so I don't know if it, well, I mean, maybe it would work together, because so far everything that I've used has looked really nice together. These colors coordinate very well. And then I'm also going to swatch this one right here, this like super light, like on me, super light, kind of like lilac-y, pinky shade. that is very bright in the camera. I really like that one as an inner corner because it doesn't have too much of a base color, and it goes well with like every shade, every cool tone shade in the palette. It just goes well with it. I'm now swatching this iridescent right here, which kind of feels like creamy to the touch. It feels like a balm almost, and this is what it looks like here. As you can see, it has like that aqua green shift. Okay, I've picked my last color. For sure it's going to be this one, which I actually swatched on my thumb. Oh my gosh, this is so pretty, and I think it would look good over literally anything I put it on top of. It's this one right here. I swatched it in the worst place, but that would just look so pretty, and it has a bit of a like lime green shift. I don't know if it's going to show up because I mentioned in, I think it was my last looks that I did, I couldn't see the green or the orange. I did end up seeing the orange when I looked at it with different lighting, but I never saw the green, so I don't know if the green is actually going to show up, but I'm just going to chance it, and I'm going to take that shade out. Here's the final color story of the palette. I'm not going to move this one because it's very bright, reflecting the ring light, but this is what it looks like. I did end up choosing that first metallic purple that I swatched. I didn't end up choosing any shades from this little section, but I said I was going to keep it a cool color story. I'll be getting 2 different looks from these shades, and I will be using every shade that I picked, but I'm kind of just going to have a free-for-all since this is like my custom palette. I've just primed my eyelids, both of them with the Milani eyeshadow primer. I do want to mention, I didn't notice this before, and it didn't stain my eyes, but this blue satin shade has been staining my fingers. I think it didn't stain my eyes because I had like that eyeshadow primer base between my eye and the shadow, but if you try to avoid staining, then maybe just look out for that. I'm actually going to start by going into that blue, and I have different brushes with me this time. So I'm gonna go in with this fluffy shader brush, and I'm going to just focus this blue like right in my outer corner. Sorry if you can hear the kids out there. They're just playing, but I kind of want to do a gradient, so I'm gonna keep this focused in just this specific part of my eye. I've gotten as much of that blue off of my brush as I can. Like I said, it stains, so I think the brush just is stained blue, but I'm going to go into that purple, and just lightly I'm going to add this kind of on the edges of where I put that blue. And I put that purple kind of on most of my lower lash line, so I'm just going to put this blue on this very outer part. Oops, I went a little bit too low. I'm gonna try to add more purple on top of it, or like around it, to try to fix that, but yeah, they blended together perfectly. Finally, you guessed it, I'm gonna take that pink satin and just put it on the edges of where I had that purple, and I'm kind of stamping it because I don't really want it to be super opaque, because this is the final like transition shade, or like the outermost shade, so I kind of want it to look a little bit diffused. And I'm also going to put it on the inner part of my lower lash line, and then just on the edges of the middle, so that it kind of envelops the purple. Then with this dense blending brush, it has nothing on it, I'm just going to go along the edges just to like diffuse it out even more and make it even lighter. On top of that, I'm just going to go in with that final like iridescent shade, and I'm not going to use glitter primer because I want it to be just a light wash of color on top of that entire gradient that I had, just to kind of like mesh everything together and add an extra veil of color. So with this on my finger, I'm just going to very lightly tap it everywhere, and then with a clean finger I'm just going to like press it in, and I love the way this looks. This is so pretty. So as you can see, I probably only used half of what was on my finger. I really wanted it to be just a light wash of that color because I didn't want to lose the gradient that I created. My hair is just a triangle, so I think I'm just gonna try to put it up. Okay, that's not bothering me anymore, but I am noticing now that I forgot to put earrings in. Oh well. I'm going to put eyeliner and mascara on and then be right back. Here's that final look, and I love it so much. I think it's probably the most beautiful look I've done so far. Not to toot my own horn or anything. I really don't want to like potentially disturb what I have going on with an inner corner highlight, so I'm gonna leave it as is, but I'll definitely use this shade in the look on this eye. I think for this one I'll probably do a more like traditional layout for how I do my eyeshadow. I think I'm gonna use this blue on my outer corner and crease, and then this pink on like my inner lid and transition, and then I'll put this metallic shimmer all over my lid and then use this as my inner corner highlight. So that's what I'll be doing. I'm just going to speed through this look because this video is already long enough. Here's the final look for this eye. I really love it. The only thing differently that I did was I put this iridescent shade just lightly on top of my lower lash line. I didn't want to, usually what I do is I mirror whatever like metallic or shimmer I have on my lid on my lower lash line as well, but I just really love how these satins blend together, so I didn't want to disturb that, but I did want kind of like a little bit of something on my lower lash line, like some brightness and sparkle, so I just topped it with this shade, and yeah, I think this is so beautiful. And like I said before, I don't even usually put pinks on my eyes, but this palette, not only is it just so beautifully made that I do want to use the shades, but because like I said, it's a little different than the traditional palette where it doesn't have any mattes. It is very shimmer and metallic heavy, so you kind of have to use a lot of those shades, and you know, no neutrals, so you do have to be really creative, especially if you're someone like me who is, even when I use color, I use a certain layout. Like I said with this eye, that's what I traditionally do, but it just forces you to break out of what you usually do and just be so creative. So again, I love this palette. The only reason I wouldn't say this is like the best palette in the world for every single person is because, again, it doesn't have those neutrals, so I don't think this is like necessarily the only palette you would ever need, but I just do highly recommend this palette. These are like my final thoughts, but I do highly recommend this palette for anyone who loves color or kind of wants to like try to get into color and really like more bold, sparkly, different types of finishes that you might see in indie palettes, but you kind of want to stick to mainstream if you're just trying to dip your toe into those types of finishes. Like I keep saying, pretty much the thing that hooked me into this palette was the packaging. As you can see, it's so versatile, and I'll have a lot of fun using this when I go traveling, so I just can't wait to dive deeper into this palette. But for now, that's all I will have on the Danessa Myricks Lightwork Volume 6. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you made it to the end, thank you so much. I really appreciate you, and if you're thinking of getting this palette, I hope you enjoy it just as much as I have. If you're not thinking of this getting this palette and you still watched, thank you. I really don't know how to express how much I love you all. Let me know which look was your favorite, or if you would have done anything differently, or which shades you would have picked for this little 6-pan palette, the custom one that I created. If you would have picked something different, let me know. But that is it for this video. I'll just have to see you in my next one. Until then, I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.